Welcome back, Chases Everything Shooting. Before I get to today's episode, I want to remind you that I'll be updating the 2025 powder, and it should be a big update of what's going on in that industry and what we should expect for the next year. Well, maybe a little bit longer. But anyway, let's get to today. Today's episode is Biden screws us over again. Now, that shouldn't be news to anyone. And we all know that Biden came into office saying he wanted gun control and he wanted assault weapons bans and he wanted all this stuff. Well, he didn't get his assault weapons ban, and he really did get some kind of gun control. Unfortunately, that was bipartisan, and actually, a senator, not Ted Cruz, from Texas, kind of pushed that, which hopefully will get rid of that rhino in the next election. But anyway, let's get to it. He didn't get what he wanted. And so he did the next best thing to hurt the US shooters. And that was by setting up and approving, having his SEC and the FTC approve the sale of the United States' largest ammo manufacturer, which is Vista Outdoor. And you say, well, geez, we've been talking about that. We heard a little bit about that. Well, we did. And we talked about it in another episode. And that episode will be listed down below in the description box. But none of us really thought that the FTC or the federal government would allow the largest retail manufacturer of ammunition to be sold to a foreign corporation. And that corporation is the Czechoslovak Group. We didn't think that was going to happen. And we heard that there were other people in America that were tendering offers. And basically, from what I get out of it, is the Czechoslovak Group, CSG, came back with unbelievable dollars per share to make it just out of reach for most other investors to put their money into it. Now, this goes with a big group. They own many, many different war-related corporations. We're talking about like Humvees. They're not Humvees, but they look like armored vehicles. Just everything to do with war, other than an ammunition manufacturing company. Well, they got it. And that's the tough part. We're going to lose Remington. We're going to lose CCI, Blazer, Federal, Estate, Spear, Heavy Shot, Alliance, Powder. All of those are Vista Outdoor Corporation companies. And they bought that whole Kinetic, they call it the Kinetic Group. Now, the real part about this is that, number one, I personally didn't think that the board of directors at Vista Outdoors would approve a sale to a foreign corporation. Well, I was proven wrong. And they did that for the dollars. They didn't care about America, the American shooter. They did it for the dollars. But they were being pressured behind the scenes by very, very large institutional investors. BlackRock. Okay. We know they're a woke company, as woke as can be. They don't care about America. And you've got the Vanguard Group, R2. There's about 5 or 6 very large institutional investors that had purchased a lot of stock in Vista Outdoor. They sold us out. Basically, I kind of look at it as they're carpetbaggers. They went out there, they saw, and we're going to make lots and lots of money off of this thing. Let's turn it. Who cares about what it does to the U.S. shooting industry, anything else? So, unfortunately, Biden's FTC and SEC approved the sale. Now, I know talking to a few insiders at some very large companies in the firearms industry, they had been getting calls from congressmen questioning this. The issue is as shooters, we didn't get involved and we didn't call our congressman and say, this has to be stopped. This can't be done. It basically probably couldn't have been stopped unless a majority of Congress pushed pretty hard and senators. But part of that is our fault. And I have to say, I'm with that because I really didn't think that they would sell us out, especially to a foreign corporation. Now, some of you are going to be saying, well, they're not going to do anything with this. They're just going to run it like normal. It's just going to be owned by this foreign corporation. And that's kind of true, but not totally true. Because what happens in the defense industry, and I'm being told this from people inside that, is that if ever Trump comes out and says, hey, you know what? No US corporation or business can sell arms to XYZ country. Well, do you think the Czechoslovak group is going to say, oh man, we can't sell ammo to them, we can't do this? No, they're not going to say that. They're going to say, hey, find a ship. We're going to start loading all this equipment up and we're going to take it to a country that's not going to tell us what to do. Now, it may be, who knows? It could be anywhere. But we know that that does happen. And so then what does that do for us as US shooters? It hurts us. It hurts us big time. And so short term, probably ain't going to be a big thing. Long term, the next few years, if things fire up in the Middle East and they want to sell, and we're, as our country, we say no, they're not going to leave that here and go, oh, we're not going to make that business. They're spending billions of dollars. They're going to want to get a return on their investment, which will be much larger than what they can get off of the retail market in the United States. So in the long run, yeah, it could be a real issue. And one of the things, if you look at what's going on in the world today, there's 120 armed conflicts going on around the world. I'm not saying wars, I'm saying armed conflicts. Armed conflicts and wars go with we'll use Israel. They're in a war and they're fighting Hamas. Well, that's two different countries right now. And so that's a real issue. Then you've got the Ukraine, which is fighting with Russia. And then you've got South Africa, where there's a lot of little countries that have rebels and they're just fighting amongst themselves. So there's a huge war machine out there, a huge war machine. And that's my concern is that we as US shooters, it's going to get harder and harder for us to get ammunition. Now, as you can see, I reload. There's 3 reloaders sitting right behind me. But even reloading, we got to have brass, We've got to have bullets. There's a lot of different things that go into reloading. And really, can we reload competitively priced? It's getting close. And as the price of gunpowder and other products go up, yeah, it will probably come in to being a cost-effective avenue. Primarily, a lot of us reload because we want the same shot every time. We control that. We know what works. We know what works for us. We know what we like. So we like to reload to know that we have that consistency. Where is that going to go in the future? I don't know. I do buy range ammunition. I buy it when it gets really cheap. And I'm looking at this going, well, I'm probably going to have to start doing all my own range ammunition eventually. So I'm trying to prepare myself what's going on. And I'm not going to belabor this, but I just want to say to everyone out there, we need to stand up for our gun rights. Nobody else is going to do it. If we don't make those calls to the senators and congressmen and to the state senators and the state assembly people and the city councils, if we don't put our foot down and say, hey, this isn't good for us, it's not good for America, then they're going to mow over us. And so I'm going to get off my political high horse here and just say, you know what? We got screwed. And Biden got us the best way he could. If there's no ammo, then that makes guns useless. So, again, let's all band together and work together to help support the 2A industry. There are going to be several things coming up in the new Congress that we're going to need to make phone calls and emails on. And I hope that you, as 2A enthusiasts, reloaders, shooters, hunters, will take a short period of time and help us maintain our 2A rights. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you coming by, and stay tuned for a good powder update.